The guest for this debrief episode has spent the last 15 years as a professional warrior. Throughout that career, he has served in the U.S. Marine Corps, where he worked as a machine gunner in an infantry platoon and as a member in one of the Marine Corps' elite stay platoons, where he trained and worked as a sniper. After his time in the Marine Corps, he spent time working as a DoD contractor before enlisting in the U.S. Army, where he now serves as a Special Forces medic. His deployments to combat zones in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other dangerous places across the globe span both the entire length of his career in many different mission sets. Because he's still an active member of the Special Forces community, we'll be addressing him with an alias. As always, the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not those of the U.S. government or any of its branches of military, but are solely those of the individual. So, getting on with the show, here's our conversation with alias Bill. I am Colby Sumner, and this is America, Fog of War.
Pride of our nation, this day have set upon the mighty endeavor, the struggle to preserve our republic. Men's souls will be shaken with the violences of
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender.
We're told that on his body was found a diary. Under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore, I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure.
You know, I spoke a little bit about your all-encompassing career. I was wondering if you could kind of give us a quick, like a little synopsis of your career in the military and kind of what got you into it, what all you've done. Just a quick overview.
Sure. I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school, did 4 years, did an Iraq deployment, an Afghan deployment, went and did, when I got out, I did some contract work overseas. I went back to Iraq for that. And then I didn't really like it necessarily. I thought I could do more. So I got out, I quit doing that, and I decided to join SF and become a medic. And that's currently what I do right now. And I've really, really enjoyed it. I love the job. It's kind of like it feels like it's a perfect fit for me.
Well, I can tell you, having known you for as long as I have, I couldn't agree more with that sentiment there. I think it is a perfect fit, and I'm very happy we got guys like you out there, you know, doing this stuff still with all the experience you have. Real quick, man, just to give the listeners a little bit of an idea, you know, we met in a funny way. We're both from generally the same area, and we have a lot of the same friends after we got out of high school. And we were talking about this a little bit before the show, but when you go home, you always meet somebody and they'll go, "Oh, you must know so-and-so, you must know Bob or whoever," because they're in the Marine Corps too. And you think, man, it's a big Marine Corps. There's bases all over the place, and there's a lot of units. Like, I don't know your friend. You know what I mean? And usually they don't know their MOS either. So you instantly start thinking, they're probably motor T or admin or something like that, and not infantry. But I had heard this about Bill for a long time. I would say, well, at least a year and a half or 2 years. And one day, I had gotten back from Iraq, and in between our post-deployment leave and our workup, we were doing. They have the midshipmen from the Naval Academy come out to Camp Lejeune, and they'll do. They get to learn firsthand some of the Marine Corps side of things, and they go out in the field. They shoot various weapon systems. Well, I'm out on a range, and I'm in charge of the small, the shoulder-fired multi-purpose assault weapon part of the range, and they have these midshipmen coming by and learning how to use it. And I'm talking to someone about some mutual friends that we have, and Bill turns. I hear from over my shoulder, hey, do what do you know about this person? I don't want to say their name because I haven't gotten permission to talk about them on air, but we'll say Alice. We'll call the girl Alice. What do you know about this? What do you know about Alice? And I turn around and I say, well, I went to high school with her. And he looks at me and he goes, you Colby? And I said, are you Bill? Right? I mean, am I wrong? That's about how it went down, right?
Yeah, pretty much, man. It was like, wow, that actually worked out. Yeah, because you always hear like, hey, John, he's in the Army or the Marine Corps or something like that. Like, and you're just like, nah, man, I don't. So it was just a real cool, like, coincidence, kind of just see how, like, the Marine Corps, as big as it is, it's still extremely small. And like, I've gotten to experience that a little bit with, like, it just seems like, you can talk to somebody from the Marines, especially, and be like, hey, you ask them like, hey, what battalion were you in? And then, they tell you and you're like, oh, do you know this dude? Or like, what years were you in? And like, everybody knows everybody. And,
right.
We're in around the same time. So I thought it was cool. And especially that, I was like, wow, dude, that is, it's like small world. Like, it's just super cool because that came to fruition. It was kind of neat.
It is, man. It is. And I just wanted to share that story. We are going to have a multitude of interviews, but it's not always we get a friend to come on the show. So this was really cool that we got to have this happen. And that being said, I kind of want to ask, what made you decide to join the Marines? We were at that age range, you're right out of high school and war is on. What made you decide that's what you wanted to do?
I mean, that was really the main reason why. I mean, honestly, dude, like when I had signed up for the Marine Corps, I didn't even know that the Marine Corps had other jobs. Like I wasn't aware that you couldn't do anything but be in the infantry. So I was like super confused whenever I talked to the recruiter for the first time. He's like, oh, what do you want to do? And I was just like, what do you mean? Like, I want to be a Marine, and at the time, when I was a kid, I'd gotten grounded for something I did in school. So like the only thing I was allowed to watch, was the news. And it was like 2003, around March, it was like around, or no, sorry, it was like 2004 because it was the Battle of Fallujah, and I was watching that, and I saw these dudes with these 240s. It's like, to me, I didn't know what that was. So I was like, well, that's a giant, look at that giant machine gun. It looks awesome. Like, I want to do that. Can I do that? And that was that, man. That's like what I went and did. That was my first job in the military, was being a machine gunner. I just thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. So that's what I wanted to do. Is like, you carry heavy stuff and you got like the biggest gun in the gunfight, walking around. He's like, yeah. And I was like, tight, sign me up. It didn't really take much convincing. And, I was like, we're at war. I want to go to war. It's like kind of, something you always see, like, as far as like World War II vets and Vietnam vets and all, everybody you meet that's a vet, different generations of veterans. And I had a lot of people in my family that served. And it was always something that was very revered. So, at the same time, I was like, hey, it's my turn. I want to be a part of that, be a part of something in history, just like why you guys are doing what you guys do, as far as talking about like podcasts and, doing podcasts about, historical events that are related to war. This is our turn. This is our chance to be part of something that, will be talked about, historically for, years and years and years and years to come. So that's really why I did it. I just wanted to be a part of something.
Well, I could say that for me, I feel like my choices were very much along the same lines too. And, there is something to serving for Uncle Sam, man. There's a lot of fulfillment you get out of that. There's a lot of purpose there. And, man, I was the same way. I wanted to go to war. I was just a little while ago, I was on an interview myself on another show. And I had told the guy's name is Matt, but I had told him, when I saw 9/11 happen, not that I was happy or excited about any of that, but I knew at that moment I was going to have a war to fight in. You know what I mean? Like, I knew at that moment that was like that I was going to get to participate in the war that follows this. And I think there is something to that, because I feel that especially you fall into this category, but I do believe that there's still like a warrior class, even in this modern era, and we don't really believe in class structures anymore. I do believe that certain people are more drawn to or called to, however you want to look at it, to like a warrior lifestyle. And just to give people an idea, you said something that really caught my ear, because it's honestly one of the things I remember the most about you is you said a minute ago, talking about machine gunners, that they carry heavy stuff and they shoot big guns. Well, everybody can obviously get on board the big guns part, but dude, I feel like you enjoy having to carry heavy stuff. Like, it's a thing you like to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a point of pride, dude. Like, I mean, as dumb as that sounds, you're just like, all right, cool. Like, I don't really know why. I mean, still kind of feel like that, where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not like, at the same time, it's not like a competition, but you're like, yeah, I gotta, I carry my own weight, and I carry, more than my own weight. And, you're doing that in a very literal sense.
Right.
And but it's also for the betterment of the team, man. Like the stronger you are, the more you can carry, the more capable your team is. And, that's, to me, that's the reason why, to stay and, is the top physical fitness, or keep your physical conditioning up, is for that exact reason right there. You bring more to the mission, whether that be more ammo, more supplies, more medical supplies, more anything. I mean, you're able to function better, because that is the way that you get around this, for the most part. Like, you're not carrying things on trucks, and nobody's going to carry it for you.
Right you got to use that M2 boot, man.
Oh yeah.
So moving on from there, we you're in the Corps now. You're a machine gunner. Your career kind of takes a turn like halfway through your time in the Corps. Would you like to talk about that some, like the different things that you did in the Marine Corps?
I mean, yeah, I went over to State Platoon.
Real quick, can you tell the listeners, just in case they don't know, what a state platoon is?
Sniper platoon. So, like, in the Marine Corps, it's like something you got to try out for, and it just kind of varies from like battalion to battalion as far as it's like a tryout. They call it an indoc. Some are longer than others, some are more difficult than others. It kind of just depends. It's all unit dependent. So I went and tried out for that, and then on my second deployment, like, I wasn't a sniper when I went to Afghanistan, but I got the opportunity to kind of do a little OJT and run around and learn how to use all the sniper systems. We had an extra one, so I just used that, and it was fun. Like, it was just, I would switch between some sort of sniper system and machine gun, depending on the mission, or an M4, and then just carry 40 Mike the grenades with me. And then I came home afterwards, and I went to sniper school, graduated from that, and then something happened with my paperwork where I ended up actually getting out of the Marine Corps, which at the time I was really bummed about. I mean, now I'm not so bummed about it, because I really like my job, what I do now. So,
yeah.
it all ended up working out for the best. Afghanistan was a really good time, when I was there the first time. So, I'm very thankful for having had that opportunity to see what I saw and do what I got to do. It was kind of one of those, like, once in a lifetime experiences where it just, happened to work out for us, I feel, anyways.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're telling me, because we were over there around the same time. And, as an infantry guy, you don't think you're going to get to do something like that, at least not in the modern era. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think you're going to get to participate in a big, in a super kinetic deployment, And as an infantry guy, when you volunteer in a volunteer force, dude, that's what you're signing up for, So I feel, I feel the same way. I feel lucky that I got to participate in that, and be a part of that era of Marine Corps history, because it's, there's so many units throughout that time frame, the end of 2009 all the way through 2011, that really, I don't know, makes it does good for the lineage and history of the Marine Corps. I feel like it really adds to it. So that being said, man, there's a few things you mentioned that I kind of want to just touch on. We don't have to go too deep into this, because really what we're interested about today is what you're doing currently. But just, this is the first time a lot of our listeners are going to be hearing this stuff, and I think it'd be kind of cool to get it from somebody that did it. You mentioned that you went on the deployment and you weren't a sniper, and then when you got back, you went to sniper school and passed. I remember that being like they have the nicknames like Pig and Hog, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, there's a little bit of a dynamic in the platoon, right? You have guys that are already like school trained snipers. You have guys that are just fresh in the platoon, and they're learning the job pretty well before they go, and also getting physically fit enough to make sure they can pass sniper school. Cause I know it's a super difficult school. There's a lot of ruck running, and a lot of skill that you need. But is that where you felt like you feel like you kind of not fell in love with the idea, but really kind of got a knack for working in a small unit?
Yeah. I mean, because first deployment I did, I was a machine gunner. I mean, granted, like the Marine Corps, honestly, is like it's in itself is a very, it's a small unit kind of dynamic and a small unit feel.
Do you love America Fog of War and want more of it? If so, Brett and I would love it if you became a member of the America Fog of War Patreon. Visit americafogofwar.com and follow the link Become a Member located in the menu at the top of the homepage and pick from one of our 3 membership subscription options. As a member, you can enjoy ad-free early access to all of our free episodes, like this one, as well as gain access to not 1, but 2 extra episodes a month, and join either Brett or myself on a monthly Zoom call where you can help us make decisions pertaining to future episodes of America Fog of War, discuss war movies and books, and talk about some of your favorite American battles and campaigns, hip pocket class style. Your membership subscriptions are what enable us to bring you the content you love every month. Help us grow this podcast and become part of the team today at americafogofwar.com.